So I'm sure I'm not alone in enjoying an unnerving and unsettling read. In fact, I know I'm not alone, especially given that Andrew Michael Hurley's new horror mystery novel, The Loney, just won Best Book of the Year at the British Book Industry Awards. So with that presumption in mind, I thought today I would recommend to you 3 unsettling reads. First things first, I have to give to this book the title of King of Unsettling Reads, and that is The Dumb House by John Burnside. It follows our protagonist Luke, a somewhat disturbed young man whose mother ingrained some strange ideas in him as a young child. Since childhood, he's been obsessed with the idea of the innateness of speech and whether it's attached to the human soul. This, combined with his childhood interest in torturing neighbourhood cats, sets him on a path that will one day lead him to experiment on his own 2 children in the hopes of discovering the true language. Definite warnings for violence and the mistreatment of children and women in this book, but despite the word disturbing coming to mind, fascinating goes equally along with it. But let's take a second to go back to the 1960s with Shirley Jackson's We Have Always Lived in the Castle. Shirley Jackson is the queen of unsettling horror novels of her time. This story follows 2 sisters and their uncle who live alone on the house on the top of the hill after the rest of their family die. From the beginning of the story, it's clear that this family are pariahs in their local town. There are lots of suspicious rumours floating around the death of the rest of their family, and it doesn't take much for gossip to turn into mass hysteria and for the people of the town to turn on the family themselves. On one hand, an intriguing mystery, on the other, an unsettling look at what gossip and fear-mongering can do to a community. And lastly, if your thing is nightmares, then I have to recommend to you The Beauty by Aliya Whiteley. I read this book about 6 months ago and it still sends a shiver down my spine every time I think about it. But I couldn't recommend to you 3 unnerving reads without including it. This story takes place in a post-apocalyptic dystopian society where all the women have died out. The men who now solely occupy the earth are presumably the last of the human race, until one young boy from a small lonely community discovers that they might not be quite as alone as they thought they were. From the graves of their mothers, sisters and daughters, a strange fungus has begun to grow. It's not until this strange fungus-like substance reaches its full potential as unsettling, female-shaped mushroom people that the story truly begins, however. So if you think you have the nerves to try one of these unsettling reads, then I'd highly recommend all of them, because they'll definitely provide you with what you're looking for.